Good morning. This morning we are going to do a bag called Stars and Stripes. I've modified it a little bit from this bag that I already did, but basically it's still the same. It will have a lining in and out. This has a back pocket, has a tab, or the handle tabs and everything. I made this out of promo vinyl. That's all I have. It's not marine vinyl, it's promo, so it's a lot more flexible. Okay, I have everything cut and ready and all my hardware ready, and let's do a placement stitch. By the way, I have my no-show poly mesh hooped. This is a 7x9 size. Okay, it's stitched the placement stitch, and now I'm going to take my zipper, center it between the two top lines, and tape it in place. Zipper up. I always do my tab to the left. Okay, tape it in place, and then we'll tack it down. Okay, it's tacked down the zipper. Now we're going to take our hoop and we're going to turn it over. Okay, and we're going to take our lining and we are going to flip it face down and tape it right along the bottom of the zipper as such, okay? Okay, once your lining's taped, we're gonna turn our hoop back over. We're gonna roll this up, the lining up, and tape it right to the top of our hoop so it doesn't get caught later taking it in and out of the hoop, okay? We're going to tape it like that. Okay, once you have your lining taped, you're going to take your front bag fabric and you're going to place it right like that. Make sure the bottom's over a 1/2 inch and make sure the sides are over a 1/2 inch. And then you're just going to place it like this, and it's going to tack the lining down and it's going to tack the bag down, the bag front down. Okay, it's tacked the front of the bag down. Now it's going to do the placement stitch for the stripes. Okay, it's did the placement stitch, and I have this here because I don't want to take my strips and put them up here and then a little one down here. So I'm just going to tape them like this, so I can tape in the middle too so it doesn't move, and it'll do the top first then the bottom. But I know this is wasted, the center piece, and you can do it however you want. I want to make sure the middle's taped, and so I know it's straight. Okay, I have all my stripes taped over my placement lines, and now it will stitch the top and then it'll stitch the bottom. That way, if anything moves, you have a chance to adjust it. That's why I did it that way. But okay, now let's tack it down. Okay, it's tacked down my stripes, as you can see. Now I'm going to just go and I'm just going to trim them all in here before I do my placement stitch for the middle vinyl. So just go ahead and cut those all off. And if you choose to make more bags of the same, you can always keep these pieces and tape them down individually over them other, over each of those. You don't have to use full strips like I did. Okay, now we'll send it over to the machine, and it's going to just do another placement stitch right here, okay? Okay, now we're going to cover the center with our vinyl. Because this piece of vinyl I have is only 10 inches wide, I can't angle it because it won't overhang the side, so I have to waste a bit. So I'm just going to cover my center like that and tack it down. Okay, it's tacked it down. Now we're going to trim just the bottom and the top. Do not trim the sides. Okay, now it's all trimmed. I'll send it over to do the satin stitch. Okay, it's did the satin trim on the top and the bottom. Now we'll do the stars and the placement for the applique star. Okay, it stitched the stars, it stitched the placement. I've included a template to cut out your star. So you can put your star right over that and tape it in place. And then stitch the tack down, okay? Okay, it's stitched on the star. Now it's going to do the satin trim across the top. So you need to trim this across the top, okay? Okay, I have the top trimmed. Now I'll stitch the satin stitch. Okay, it stitched the satin trim there. So now we're going to untape our lining here. Try to. And turn our hoop over and pull it nice and taut-like and tape it down at the bottom, okay? Tape it in place so it doesn't move and so it's nice and tight right here, okay? And then we'll send it over the machine to do the tack down, okay? There you go. I'm gonna remove this piece of tape and that piece of tape. Okay, so let's just show you right here. There it is, okay? Now let's go tack it down. Okay, it's tacked down the lining, as you can see. And it also did the placement stitches for the purse tab, the handle tabs, okay? And so you're gonna take your tabs and your D-rings, or however you like to do them, you know, and what I do is I take and I center my ring right in the zipper because I don't like a big tab. And I tape that down, and then I tape my metal ring down as well so it doesn't get caught up, and then I'll do the same on the other side. Okay, I have them both taped in place, and now I'll tack them down. Okay, it's tacked them down. Now, very important, open your zipper. I open my zipper, and then I tape my D-ring back down, and I always tape my zipper tab. I just like it, I don't want it to get caught up where the final stitches are going to be. Okay, now if you want a back pocket, it goes on now. I'm going to have a back pocket. It makes sure it's a 1/2 inch over the bottom, 1/2 inch over the sides, and it needs to be below the final tack down line. Usually I put mine in line with my satin stitch. I line it up like that, and then I make sure my bottom is over, and it is. And I always tape my pocket in place because sometimes the fabric doesn't matter if it's crooked, but your pocket matters. So I tape my pocket down. Okay. Now you're going to take your back fabric or vinyl, and it's going to go face down, and it's going to go over all of it. You know, you need to be up above your final stitch lines, which is where your zipper tabs are. But I cover all the way from the zipper down to 1/2 inch below. Make sure you're 1/2 inch on each side. You're going to have it just like this, and then you're going to tack it all down. Okay, it's tacked down my pocket and my back vinyl. Now we're going to turn our over, okay, and we are going to cover our back with our other piece of lining. Now if it's directional, you want the direction pointing up, but you're going to put it face down and cover the whole design and tape it in place, okay? And darn, it's all done. But typically, before I put on my back lining, I trim where my zipper is, but now I'll have to show you how to do it after you turn your bag right side out. Okay, so now we're going to remove all the tape, remove it from the hoop, and then trim it, okay? Okay, I like to go around and trim all my excess lining, or stabilizer, I mean. That way it's not in my way so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, get that out of the way. Okay, and then first off, I take my lining and I flip it backwards like that. And then I trim my bag about 1/4 of an eighth to a 1/4 of an inch, okay? That's my first cut I do, is right there. Then I take where my lining stitches ended and I angle them out like this. Okay, so and then I trim the rest of the bag 1/4 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch around. Okay, once it's all trimmed, you're going to open between the lining and you're going to turn it right side out. So you take your time, use your fingers and thumbs and work it around and put the line, you know, turn it right side out, okay? Be careful you don't want to tear your lining, okay? In turning this, I just want to remind you, if you use marine vinyl, it's a lot harder and stiffer and more difficult to turn. I use promo vinyl that I get from My Punk Embroidery, or most places sell it. Glitterbug Fairy, I think, sells it. The Crazy Craft Lady. You know, I buy vinyl from all those, okay? Once it's turned pretty much most of the way, I'll take my paintbrush handle and I poke it around and put everything out like that, okay? And I'll show you. And we have to trim this stabilizer because I didn't do it earlier. So now you're going to tuck this inside the bag, and you can see where you need to fold it at the stitch line there. You're going to tuck it in, and you're either going to tuck them both in. You're going to sew them, glue them, or tape them shut, okay? Today I used glue, and I use a flexible fabric glue. And there's also the fuse glue, not the tape, but there's glue just like it, but it's in the cupboard. So I'll use this opportunity to trim my stabilizer from behind my zipper. So I'll make a little teeny cut like that. And I will slide my scissors down, being careful not to cut your fabric, because you don't want to cut your fabric. Okay? So go all the way around, trim your stabilizer out. If you didn't do it earlier when I should have. Okay? So just get that all trimmed out. Whoops, sorry. And while you wait for your glue, if you use glue. This no-show poly mesh is more like a tearaway. I don't know where I ordered it, but I will not order it again because I do not like it, okay? Okay, I've trimmed my zipper. I'm going to take my Wonder Clips off. And I'm going to reach in here and I'm going to untape my tab. And I'm going to turn my bag right side out from inside here. Make sure you're behind the design in the pocket. You want to try to turn it in the pocket. So just use your fingers and thumbs. Once again, depending on your vinyl, is the ease of turn. But the promo vinyl is pretty good. Actually, it's very good. I think the red is from My Punk Embroidery and the blue is from Glitterbug. So you're going to push out your corners or your curves or whatever you want to call them. Just like that. And I'll use my handy dandy paintbrush handle. Take them all out. Take my tape off my hardware. I use medical tape. Usually it's pretty good, but this one was a recommended one by Amazon. Not sure I like it either. I like this one, the micropore surgical tape. This is 1 inch, but I usually use the 1/2 inch. It's pretty nice, and it works very well in your tape dispenser. So, and you can stitch right through it, and it tears much nicer, tears off without leaving stuff behind like Scotch tape does. Okay, so here we go. We got our corners pushed out almost. Haven't did this one yet. Push my corner out there and my corner down here. Okay, close my bag. I'll add my handles and I'll add my hardware. A zipper pull, cute little zipper pull I have. Okay, there we have it. Okay, added this. I haven't put a strap. Decisions. I have red, white, and blue. And I did not add my snap tab on the back. It would go here and then through the inside of the bag, because all I have is cam snaps, and I really didn't want to cheesy it up with a plastic cam snap, and I don't have any silver snaps, so I'll have to order some and I'll do the back of this bag. Okay, there you go.